This is a very serious issue. I don't know what to say. We have had some problems in the last administration, as you well know, about their abuse of the economy. As you well know, it's been a problem for us. But it's been brought to my attention that there's a particular bad issue that I'm surprised that the previous administration did. And this was the issue of gum. Can you believe that? It is something that we did not anticipate that would happen. We did not anticipate that the Bush administration, in their hubris, would think it would be something that would be a legacy of my administration to come here and tell you, this great nation, that our entire net worth has gone down the tube because of the fragrant use of chewing gum. No, this is something that I'm distressed about. This is something that we should all really take seriously. You know the cost of chewing gum is probably a few cents, but those few cents monument to thousands, millions, billions of dollars. We cannot allow the mistakes of a previous administration to bring down this great nation because of someone's entitlement of chewing gum and wasting our great country on that. I don't like to bring this to you as a president, knowing that we have so many other things we have to do in this great nation. The defense of our nation is something that's important to us, but we cannot do that because we've wasted it all on chewing gum.
Mr. President?
Yes.
David Wrigley?
Yes, please. Yes.
Mr. President, I want to tell you that we resent these accusations.
Yeah, but it's not my response.
Complete fabrication.
No, this is not a complete fabrication. It was from my taking over the presidency that I learned of these mistakes. And the mistake being that no one knew that George Bush had a problem with gum. It's hard for me to believe too. Now you can believe what you will. It is my responsibility as the president to make sure that all these issues are resolved. I am now, unfortunately, have to put a mandatory halt on all gum production because it's something that's wasteful. Let me finish. I'll get to you. I'm sorry that we're going to put a prohibition on gum for the next few months until we can.
That policy will bring down the gum industry.
That is, the policy with the gum has destroyed our nation and economy. I'm sorry. There's nothing more that I can say that will eliminate this. Children will have to understand that the days of being able to chew gum freely are now over. I can't. It hurts me because I have two girls here who would like to chew gum too, and I have to tell them no. Malia and Malika, I'm sorry. We can't have gum in the house anymore because it's a civic responsibility for all good Americans to refrain from chewing gum and buying it also. I'm sure it will probably create a black market in gum.
What about gum from Canada?
I've talked with the Prime Minister of Canada, and he has agreed with me.
Bubble makes gum in Canada.
I understand that, and we're going to put at the borders a no gum-free zone. Unfortunately, this is something that we have to do in order to make.
Have you contacted the Canadian finance minister?
No, I contacted the Prime Minister directly, and he has told me he would be working with my administration to prevent the exportation of gum across our borders. I'm sorry, importation. So,
Can you tell me what flavor all this money was squandered on?
I only know George Bush liked juicy fruit. That's all I know. I mean,
Mr. President?
Yes.
If we don't make gum in this country and Europe continues with its massive gum production, there's going to be a gum gap. What will we do?
well, think about all the money we save on going to a dentist. mean, it's,
It will probably help childhood obesity, huh?
no, in fact, it will help us save money on the cost of going to dentists, and that means other types of diseases relative to maybe obesity, as you allude to, but also will help us to refrain from having to worry about having periodontal disease more or less. At least few.
Dentist out of business. What's next?
I don't think there would be any problem with any businesses succumbing to the problems of gum addiction. I just think that for the most part, we have to realize that it's our responsibility to get the economy back on shape again, so that we don't have this gum issue again. My administration, my cabinet, and every department of this government will have no gum at any of the dispensers in our breakdown areas or in our places where we have gum in public area. I'm also asking the FDA to look into ways that we can maybe ban gum in vending machines. That is something I think will help. Maybe replacing it with, with something else in its stead. Maybe instead of using gum, maybe using more lozenges or something like that to prevent people from chewing.
All this gum out of people's homes.
That's a good question. The best thing I would suggest to the governors of the various states is to have them create gum disposal locations throughout the areas of the state. I think that would be a great way for us having the governors, the mayors of each of our great state cities to make sure that they can have places where they can deposit the gums, as they did during the period of time where the GI Bill, during the period of time when we had to have the WPA. Remember those days? Some of you are not old enough to remember the WPA, but I remember that everyone did their fair share to put things in a location, working as a nation to eliminate the problems of the Second War. And I believe this is a war on gum. Believe me, this is a war on gum.
What if a child brings gum to school?
It is the responsibility of the teacher to remove the gum from the student. Of course, not forcibly, but to make sure.
Will the parents be charged?
We haven't decided how we're going to handle that issue at this point, as far as any type of laws against parents harboring gum as a way of creating a black market for it. At this point, we're trying to look at ways that we can go beyond the mistakes of the previous administration. This is their problem that I inherited. Any other questions, please?
Mr. President,
Yes.
can you tell us exactly how much money that George Bush squandered on gum?
I can't give you an exact amount. It was close to our national debt is what, 1.3 trillion, something like that now. I think we're close to the $1 billion mark, maybe $3 or $4 billion in gum.
He spent on
Yes,
gum.
yes.
Where's this gum gone?
We don't know. We have no idea. The only thing I know I can tell you is that the situation with gum is a bad problem that started with him chewing in the White House. And I can't say how that anyone would allow this to become an epidemic of proportions that I can't tell you. It can ripple the fabric of our great nation because we'll have our enemies, maybe the terrorists, creating, it's like the poppies that we find in Afghanistan. We've been fighting the war in Afghanistan for the last in the last administration, this one, instead of creating poppy fields, they're creating, they're buying gum bushes and planting them and creating this sort of thing here. We cannot, I will not allow gum trees to be planted. If it needs to have gum banned, yes, in order to preserve our great nation's economy. We cannot allow this to continue.
But our troops don't get to brush their teeth. They use gum to keep their breath fresh.
Then you use disposable toothbrushes, and there won't be any gum. In some countries, Gum is not allowed. In fact, I take a word from Singapore. They do not allow gum chewing at any point. We will in this country do the same thing. It's not
Will
only.
you consider instituting caning if someone?
No. We are a country of laws, and we're a country of fair. Of fair things for people who do things in a fair way. We cannot allow gum chewing, the buying of gum, the buying of contraband gum to destroy our country. And I think that in that way we have to ensure. Yes.
What if illegal bring gum over the border?
Um,
Consider some sort of a regulation on that.
As with any of our extra, as a way we're trying to eliminate the amount of people coming across the borders to find work in the United States, we will increase the Border Patrol in order to capture and possibly prosecute those persons who harbor illegal gun chewing, also gun exploitation. We don't know how this will connect to the drug trade. We don't know how this will connect to other things in our economy. Yes, this is the last question, please. We have to go on to some more other topics.
Just a quick question for you. Will the ATF, the FBI, the CIA, would they be involved in the drug enforcement of the ban of all guns throughout the country? And how will that unfold? How much money will be attributed to the ban of guns through these agencies?
Well, what I would hope to do is, again, as I said before, work with the governors that in Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, to come up with a plan that will help us secure those borders along with the ATF, along with the FBI, CIA, and NSA, to help us find out those organizations that are creating the illegal production and distribution of gum. I think that we have to work conscientiously with those agencies. They have my full support of this part of the presidency to make sure that all those things are taken care of. I think that we should do the best we can to realize that that gum use has to be curtailed. The growing of gum, the chewing of gum, and unfortunately the exploitation of gum. That is something we have to take care of. And I think every department within my cabinet has been instructed to do their best to find the right monies within their budgets to handle this situation. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much.
Mr. President?
Yes.
Can I have a say? You
Yes.
cannot fall over but sleep. Strong on your feet. Now in a moment, when I click my fingers, you're going to open your eyes, you're going to come absolutely fully alert, and you're going to be Mr. Obama. Come along for the day, the President of the United States, to learn hypnosis.